Hi guys. This video is about fire safety. The reason I'm bringing it up is I watched a video yesterday of a couple. I'll put the note in the description so you can follow them because they've got a lot of followers. But they bought a van to travel around the US. It's an old van, but they did the right thing. They paid for it. They went to a mechanics and get the whole thing checked out. But driving down the road before they decided to pile everything in, he could smell smoke, and then before you know it, the thing's on fire, and managed to get his wife out and stuff like that. I'll show you here. And the thing is, as you can see, a chap pulled up and tried to put it out with an extinguisher. To be honest, he was in the wrong spot because the smoke was drifting off to the left there, and if he'd have stood the other way, he wouldn't have been choked with smoke. So there are little things. It's very difficult when you're at a fire. It's very difficult because your adrenaline's pumping and your brain goes a little bit squishy. Now, I was a fireman for 30 years, so I've seen quite a few car fires and van fires, lorry fires, things like that. I know that obviously with the fire service, you get there 2 or 3 minutes after the fire started. Well, most of the time, it's going like the clappers by the time you get there. The only time it ever happened to me is I used to drive a taxi in London, and I had a taxi. I was waiting at the traffic lights, and I started getting smoke through the vents at the front where the radio is. It freaked me out because I go to fires, don't expect to see your own fires, you know. But anyway, I managed to squirt some extinguisher through the vents and I put it out. In all honesty, I wish I hadn't because the taxi was a pile of crap. But there you go, it's instinct to put the fire out. So what I'm going to do is give you a few little preventative measures. It'll probably never happen. In all my years, what am I, 60? I'm 60 something now, and I've never had a fire in the house. I've never had a fire in the car apart from the taxi. So the chances are it will never happen. But preventing is it's worthwhile. What I mean by preventing is a clean engine bay for a start. It doesn't have to be spotless, but the more greasy and dirty and all that like it is, the more chance of it possibly catching fire. So just give it the odd degreaser and a spray with your power washer, and just keep it clean. That's one. Another one is fuses. Make sure your fuses are covering the cables that you're using. So don't go, if you've got 1.5 mil cable, don't go sticking 30 amp fuse in there, because what will happen is the wires will heat up and they will catch fire before the fuse gets a chance to pop. So just keep that in mind, because that's another very, very useful thing. The biggest fires you're going to get in your van, apart from the engine bay and stuff like that, or your electrical system, I've got a power ball in my electrical system, which I'll show you in a minute, is your kitchen. Now, I doubt very much any of you are going to be frying chips. Or you might do, I don't know, but you'd be crazy in a tiny little kitchen to be cooking chips. But if you ever get a pan fire, right, I'm sure you've seen it before. Here's a little clip. I'm sure you've seen it, that if you panic and pour water on it, say goodbye to your van. That's history, because that's what happens. So the idea is, if you've got a big enough lid, is to cover it with the lid. If you haven't got that, get a tea towel, run it under the water, wring it out, don't leave it soaking wet, wring it out, and then place it over the pan. Not flip it up and bring it down, because all the flames will come up there and burn all your flipping moustache. So put it in front of you and just lean it over and then let it rest. Turn the gas off and it will put it out, trust me. But as I say, that's probably a rare one. I doubt very much anyone's going to be that sort of doing that sort of cooking in a small van. The other thing is extinguishers, right? Everyone should have an extinguisher or two. They're only little. They're about £8, right? Stick one under the sink. Got to have them in a place where you can grab them. I've got one by my driver's seat, and I've got one under the sink. And then I've also got a power ball. I said I was a little bit obsessed about fire, and I've got a ball. These are the balls. Yeah, this is how they work basically. So you got the fireman there. You literally, they're only about that big, and you throw them into the fire, and that's it. It'll blow up. I'll be honest. If your van's at a point where it's on fire like that, it will put it out. But your van's toast by then, I would have thought so. But they are good. I've got one in my electrical system, so if anything suddenly catches fire underneath the seat in the electrical system, it'll go off and put it out. So there'll be minor damage, but hopefully you'll be able to prevent your van from catching fire completely. Okay, that's it for this video. It's a quick one, but a very important one, I think. As I said, I doubt very much anything like that will happen. But it's the same way with security. You're always worried about someone stealing your van. So you put brake locks, you put steering locks, you put locks on your door and everything else. It's just preventative measures. And the difference with fire is if it starts, only needs to be a small fire, and your brain will turn to mush. So if you've got stuff nearby and things like that, then it will make life easier to get the fire out and hopefully save your van. So if you like it, I'm glad you did. If not, whatever. Okay, I'll see you on the next video. Thanks very much.